We are working on a handful more stuff. This is in here, working on a wire for the blower. You see it right there. This runs the blower. I don't know. It was all nasty and dirty. Cleaned it all up. We'll get it back in here now, and I wanted to get a new one of these ends, but I don't think I'll be able to. And replacing the wiring harness is just not gonna happen. So we'll get it plugged back in and we'll get it zip tied so this thing can't wiggle in there. But it was kind of dirty, so we cleaned it all. So it has a good connection again. But you know, to do that kind of crap, you'd about rip half the inside apart, get in there. Like half all these other projects. My light's not in here. I think Christoph took it. But I will show you. So you can see I took the cooler box out. Oh, there's my light. It's still hanging in there. I took the control module for the AC out. There we go. And then the radio is out. So you can see that plug right there. That used to go behind 90 right there, and it was plugged in to the plug that's outside now. But to open that, because you know, one's hand goes in like this. I don't have little hands, so I can't get both my hands in here, let alone. So I had to pull this box out so that I could shove my hand in like this to pull. But you know, to open those plugs up, you need two hands because you can't just push it hard with your fingers when it got hot like that. It doesn't work good. So I had to then get my other hand in through this hole to then pry it apart. I didn't record it because I could barely see, so how are you gonna stick a camera in there? But now we got that figured out, because throughout the year, randomly, our blower, which has stopped working, and then you just give it a love tap right here. When I say love tap, sometimes I got aggressive. And it would turn back on. But I figured out what wire it was, and I kind of zip tied it up to that 90, and it worked. But I didn't like that fix, leaving it like that. But now that we had time, I got in there and fixed it. And my mom brought this up today because it is Monday. They brought our fuse. She brought the fuse panel up there, and it's already back. I can show you guys what it was. So all that work, see that little diode right there? That's the one they had to change out. They had to like snip off the old one, then make some couplers and either reattach them like that or solder them back on. I'm not sure how they did it, but it was like a $10 diode, I think. I think this whole project right here probably took the guy like 30 minutes. So I don't know how much it costed. So say it costed us 60 bucks for them to do it, or even 100. That's $100 to fix that. Instead of paying someone 2 to 4 hours to remove it and then another 2 to 4 to install it at $100-something an hour rate, it's quite expensive for something that really only costed us 60 to 100. I don't know what it costed, but that's why we do such things on our own. I just got to install that back in later, but I'm going to finish this up first and get this out the door for right now. My technique to fix this plug-in so it doesn't wiggle anymore is very simple, but it has deemed to be effective. Because you see, you got a little black in there, it got some of the plastic a little wallered out, so this one wasn't staying tight side to side. The locking clip was still working fine, so I kind of bent it up a little bit more to make it even tighter. And then on this side, because these wires are really tight, or not tight, tough wires, I don't know how to say it, stiff wires, there we go. They don't move too much, so we zip tied them together all the way up here, and I turned it to the right angle. It's not focusing. Well, you know what I mean. I turned it to the right angle, and now that thing, even when I try pushing it on it with my finger, is not moving. So now we'll plumb it back in there. I cleaned the other side out earlier, scraped it all out, and that side's good too. And luckily it only hurt this side, not the other side, and we'll get it back together. We got it plugged in. You can see it back there with my fancy zip ties. When I zip tied it up, I had it tied like this, and it kind of made the connection good. But now we can let it go back to where it needs to be, and there we go. That is good. Now we can reassemble this crap. Would Christoph like to show them what he's doing? He's not lying there. He's not doing anything.
Changing the blinkers.
Yep.
The wiring is, it's all rotted out, so blinkers don't work.
Rusted, corroded.
Yep.
Salt will do that to ship. So we got these fancy LED ones that we've been putting on our Western Stars now. We like them. We put them on Alex's and the white one last winter. And now this truck's finally getting them. We were gonna do them last year, but you know
they were still working. So,
yeah.
But now this. No, the other side we got somewhat working again, and this side we couldn't. Wires falling off, and the housing was junk.
Yeah, the bolt to unscrew them, can't see it right now. Couldn't get the Phillips on them to get them open. It just stripped. Yeah. He's excited.
No.
So that thing's all done for now. There's a couple other parts coming, but nothing serious. Philip is working on taking the oil, or not oil, the fuel out. So we have a hydraulic pump, but it's clean, and then you can mount a garden hose right to it. And if you pump it a couple times, he's getting lucky and it's siphoning.
Yeah, you're lucky.
Now I probably won't do that the whole time, but
No, I wasn't stop you like that.
it's working for now. And then I'm gonna put the fuse box back into it pretty soon. And Christoph got one on so far, and then he realized it's only getting, the blinkers are working, but the light isn't. It's only getting 10 volts instead of 12, so he's tracking back and finding that issue. I gotta pull this out. The feed tractor's gotta come in. The thermostat was sticking on it, so we had to unhook it today. And my mom grabbed that part from Champlain Valley Equipment, and we'll put the thermostat back in the feed tractor for tomorrow. On Keeping Up with Christoph, a lot of focus in this one.
I think battery's going to hell. Go do ya.
I know. I'm just, I love the hammer. Don't got time to open it up.
That's because it's junk anyway, so might as well cut it off. Fucking the dog with it.
All right, he's doing the blinkers. We're gonna let him be. We the feed tractors, that's all done. But this is the next day actually. Christoph got the last of the cab mount stuff in. Philip got this drained the other day. Christoph got the tank off.
This is how much it wore.
This is one of the top rubbers. There's actually this right here. You can see it's really bad. Goes up above this right. Oh, my light's off. Right there. So you got that rubber, then you have those two brown ones, and then you have this bottom rubber. So they put a lot there, and then that's kind of how the cab mounts work, and it bolts to the, this is actually the transmission on this tractor. It's like 2 feet long from right here to, where's the ending? Right here. So it's like a 2-foot transmission. This spacer right here, it's basically just a spacer gap from there to the engine, and all your pumps sit in there. So there's not a lot here. So it's not a big tractor. We should blow that out, since it's the only time we can ever get in there. And we got other stuff to do now too. But I figured I'd show you what Christoph was up to.
Actually doing something.
We got the feed skid steer up here. I had hydraulic hose I had to change for the left cylinder right there. And then while it's up here, Philip's doing the motor oil on it. He's got it jacked up. He's got blocks under there so it can't come down. It gets neglected a little bit, so we got to get the motor oil done. This, we just changed 5 lines. What was it, Sunday we did this? Yeah. Sunday. Today is Wednesday. These lines right here, there's 6 of them that plumb in underneath, come into here, and they plumb up to the front, and those run your tilt, your up and down, and then your third auxiliary. We had to change 5 of them. We couldn't do all 6 because they didn't have enough hoses, or not hoses, fittings to get them all done. But one of them was actually changed probably in the last couple of years before we bought this because it looked pretty new. So we did all we did. The problem we're having is we've actually never had it happen before, but we changed so many that it put air in the cylinders and it's bouncing and not reacting instantly. So we got to figure out how to get that air out. And I noticed there's one oil leak coming from in there, so probably one of the O-rings went bad. So I'll change that too. So some more work. We have figured it out. This is the one that's leaking is the auxiliary one, so we never use it. I also never tightened it. So yeah, I don't think you guys picked up what Christoph said. I'll tell you.
It's when you let a half-assed mechanic do a job.
Yeah. It was 3 of us doing this that day. It was a shit show. But you can see we color coded everything. So I'll tighten that one and then we'll get to figuring out the rest of this, which is actually the big issue, because if you've ever drove something that got air in the system, air bounded, nothing reacts how you want to when you're trying to run controls. We're just gonna put this back on. You tighten this? Yeah, I did. Watch it. Where's the other fuel line? Oh, back here.
That's good.
The fuel gauge pliers? I grabbed it.
I got mine.
Okay. So we just went through the curling one because that one was stuttering and jumping too. I didn't record that because I just wanted to see if what we were doing was working. So all we did was in here. This is your main valve bank that distributes where the main oil flow is going to go to the up and down, curling, or the auxiliary. Your first one here on both sides is your auxiliary. Your middle one is your curling, and your last one there, that's your up and down for the boom.
Do you have the wrench for it?
I put it over there. So all I did was opened up the hose right here, and then I had Philip, he got in the cab, I stood to the side and watched it, and he just ran the curling and uncurling a couple of times, and it pissed a bunch of oil out, and then you could see it splatter or bubble. He just held it at the end, and then we did one side and basically did the other side. I did the easy one first, and now we gotta do the last one, which truly sucks to get your wrench in there.
We'll have to get different.
But yeah,
Cut one.
or we just open up the curling to get it open. When we did it, you had to take off this line to get to that one, so we'll see. We'll get it open, and then we'll bleed them out, and that'll fix the bouncing problem. So Philip's gonna run the loader. I opened up the line back there. I am not going to stand in this area, but I'll put the camera there for you because I don't want to get crushed by the bucket. Yeah. So whenever curl it in, Philip, and then let it down, and I'll watch it from over here. Upside down. Oh, slowly. And let the air out. Well, you could see the air fly out of there.
Yeah, I saw it.
You saw it, you heard it.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we'll tighten that one up and do the same on that side. This thing is all done. It's even greased and filled back up with oil. That is done. I think he's just putting the motor oil filter on. And over here, man, we have a cluster of equipment in here. That's all you got left, steps?
Steps at the time and done with this.
Nice. And I got to do that in the cab, which was the plan to do today, but I had to do the payloader because that thing and the skid steer we had to get done because the oil leak. You couldn't drive it like that, trying to load feed and be precise because you couldn't wiggle the bucket a little bit. So we got that done first, and we'll get to this after. I gotta finish this video. I didn't even show that we pulled this in after the loader. We gotta pull this in. It was stuttering with fuel. It looks nasty because the power steering hoses were leaking in there. And then I found where the antifreeze leak is.
We'll fix it tomorrow.
Which that'll be fixed tomorrow, but we have to get this outside for now. It has antifreeze in it. It's not gonna freeze with it being negative. We are double checking the hose because it's leaking. But we have to finish the antifreeze leak tomorrow. This runs the little oh, that'll do it. That's why she was leaking. This runs the little spreader that normally doesn't have a beater because we put the shoveling in it in the morning. So that's what this is. The feed skid steer is out, so that's back in for the night, and the excavator's actually coming back in again, which I didn't show was in here in the first place this morning, but it was getting motor oil changed. Some steel pipes were getting changed out. They got bent to shit. Those two. We actually have to do 4. And we had all 4, but only 2 of them are right because it got ordered for a different boom length, and ours is a long boom for that style. So 2 of them are right, 2 are wrong. So that'll get fixed. When they say it was coming next week? Yep. They said next week it's coming, and we'll send the ones that were wrong back. But we're gonna bring the Volvo in tonight. Because we have to do a couple bunks tomorrow, and it's supposed to be negative 15 without any wind chill.
So probably go to 25.
So it'll be a little chilly morning for Christoph feeding tomorrow. I fed this morning. I never did get to putting that in because we had so much more other stuff come up. But we will get to that tractor. We're gonna put this hood on, but that is it for this video. Thanks for watching. What?
See you later.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, and there is plenty of shit happening. I just don't record it all. But we're working on it. We got a lot of sidetracked. Thanks for watching.